I watched a video recently with the wonderful Pam Gregory and the astrologer, and I watched the video, and she is amazing in her perspectives and the clarity and the energy that she brings into um, her observations of the astrological um, movements and the energies that pervade those movements. I love her work. It's amazing. I'm a big fan, huge fan. And I understand the nature of the astrological movements and the astrological energies that align with certain planetary bodies, and also through the use of energies that move through the cosmos and beyond the cosmos. And I understand the nature of the fact that due to the nature of these energies moving the way they do, there are opportunities for us to utilize those energies in a way that's positive in our own personal spiritual growth, but also in a way that is collectively in regards to consciousness, for us to move in a way that brings us harmony, peace, and balance, and tips the scales towards a more peaceful resolution in regards to where we're moving, what energies we're moving through, and how to use those energies in a way that brings us to a place where we actually have peaceful resolution rather than conflict and discordance and disorder. Having said that, and of course astrology is a science that's ridiculed as pseudoscience by my mainstream scientists and mainstream perspectives, but astrology is an ancient science. And if you look at people like JP Westinghouse, I think it was JP Morgan or Westinghouse, said that millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires use astrology. If you look at the work of people like Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, just to name two of the researchers I can think of, there are many, many others. They all show how dark journalists, Daniel Lentz, they all show how people in influences, places of power and influence, have always used astrology in a way that they are able to align themselves with the energies in order to get the benefit for themselves and for the system that they're creating. And I have to be honest in my perspective here in regards to what I see and what I hear, is that I understand the nature of we can utilize these energies for the benefit of humanity and of for consciousness to evolve and to shift in regards to the embodiment of that energy in our planetary paradigm. But there is also the flip side of that, the shadow side of that situation of the energies, is that the forces that wish to control consciousness, that wish to devolve consciousness, that wish to diminish consciousness, also can use those same energies for their benefit as well. And they often do use those astrological alignments and astrological energies to further their goals. So the shadow side of this energy is that these people in control who understand the nature of the cosmological alignments, and they call it pseudoscience in public, but privately they utilize it to the max. They align everything with their astrological movements. They align everything with the sciences of numerology and occult sciences that are often taught in mystery schools, public or private mystery schools. They'll take those energies and they'll utilize those energies for their own benefit in a way that they can twist and invert it. And this is the archontic matrix. They'll twist and invert their energy in a way that they can use it for their benefit in a future date, or create or solidify a foundational event that will, in that modality, create a vibrational frequency that will shoot out into the paradigm and affect the simulation in a way that causes the infection, I would say the only virus that ever existed, Wetiko mind virus, to infect large populations of parts of the population of this planetary sphere we call the Earth, or Gaia. And by doing that, lock in a frequency. For example, 9/11 is a classic example of that, where they utilized that numerology to lock in an event, to utilize that event to create a massive discordance in the energetic field of the planet by installing fear into the paradigm, into the energetic matrix, into the frequency band of what we call reality, in order to anchor in that and create a foundational event where they can move from to create in the physical realm, in our day-to-day legal la-la land, and in our lives, more and more restriction, more and more control, more and more top-down control over the population of the planet. So to me, the whole idea of utilizing these energies is they're all neutral. They're always energies that, from my experience and my knowledge, and my knowledge is not in any way the truth. My experience, and what I'm experiencing, what I'm seeing, and I've seen over the last 30 years of my conscious spiritual awakening processes, is that the powers that be can use the same energies astrologically for their benefits if they invert it in a way by creating an event around the astrological alignments, around the astrological constellations, around the astrological energies. If they can use that energy, they can harness that energy and invert it in a way for their own benefit. This is the shadow side of astrology, I believe, and I feel. This is the shadow side of astrology, when you have someone taking in a alignment or energy and inverting it in a way that's for the benefit of that control system. Now, we can also use that same energy to expand our consciousness, to create harmony and peace and joy in the world, if we choose to embody it in ourselves and channel that energy and focus it in that way to create that experience. Of course, it's neutral energy. It's neutral, in my experience anyway. And that's not necessarily the case. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but I have and understand the nature of this energy. It can be used, and I might be the only man saying this. Others have said it before me, well before me. I'm only parroting what they've said and the research they've done. But I do see the lack of balance in that perspective, in that knowledge, in that gnosis being shared when it's shared. I understand the nature of sharing that gnosis, sharing that knowledge in a way that uplifts consciousness, uplifts men and women to do their best by using their energy in a way that's positive and to create a paradigm shift in a way that brings in harmony, peace, and love and expansion of consciousness in a way that's harmonious with the planetary energy and the cosmological energy. I understand this 100%. I get it. I do my best to align with that energy myself. But we cannot lose sight of the fact that the shadow side of that energy is the fact that there are forces that know these energy astrological alignments are coming up. They know the astrological energies that are coming up. They're quite aware of them through all the astrological calendars, astrological sciences, Vedic sciences, the Western astrological sciences, the sciences of astrology from ancient times. And they utilize these energies for their own benefit. They invert them. They invert them in a way that enables them to control and to create more control through the use of these energies. Even when it seems like the energy that's coming through is really powerful and it's expanding consciousness, there is an opportunity within this flip side, on the shadow side of this energy, to utilize it for just that, control. And we have to, I think, my perspective is that we have to understand that. And that's why it's so important for the silent masses not to acquiesce to that energy. And this is one of the most powerful things the control system does, is it makes astrology into a pseudoscience, and therefore most of the normies, people that aren't awake or spiritually awakening, consider it to be absolute rubbish and don't adhere to it in any way, which gives the powers that be the chance to utilize their energy and jump on board with that energy themselves, take it and invert it, because they may be the few, but those few understand the nature of a ritual, a ceremony, of placement of ritual, of placement of energy, to utilize energy that's coming into the planetary consciousness, onto the planet, into the frequency band, into the simulation, into the matrix, into the paradigm, and take it, invert it, and utilize it for their own benefit. And that has to be said. Much as there is positive, there is a negative side of that as well, of this astrological science and the understanding of it. And that negativity is about control, discordance, and disorder, and utilizing the neutral energy of, I think it's neutral, but I could be wrong. To me, it seems neutral. Energy seems neutral. It seems powerful, yes, very powerful, and it does shine a light of, often it does utilize, it does become, it brings in clarity a lot of the time. This astrological alignments in the last couple of years have brought in clarity, but they've also brought in restriction and control. And the powers that be understand the nature of those astrological alignments and utilize them to the date. I actually heard Pam Gregory talking about March the 23rd, 2020, which was the day that most of the world went into lockdown. That Saturn, I believe Saturn went retrograde or went direct. One of the two, I'm not sure, forgive me. But the day after it happened, went retrograde, bang, lockdown. And that's a classic example of the powers that be using an astrological alignment, Saturn restriction control, to do that, to do just that. And that's what I'm saying. This is the shadow side of the astrological sciences that a lot of people don't adhere to or see. We need to be aware of it, I think. And those of us who are consciously aware of the use of this energy, we can switch it around and use it for the positive, and use it for the sense of expansion, the sense of harmony and peace, by using that energy in a way that is just that, expansive, peaceful, and harmonious. And at the same time, stop the use of that energy on some level at least being all used up by the forces that try to control humanity, planetary consciousness, our consciousness, and expansion of consciousness. Thanks for watching, I truly appreciate it. Mate wa. I'll see you again soon.